So you need 1 onion, the quickest way to cut an onion is you do the bridge hold, cut it in half, and then you'll see that I've left the furry bit at the bottom on. Then hold it like that and cut 2 slits, not quite down to the bottom, going down like that. You'll see I haven't cut all the way to the bottom, and then you're going to cut across, I don't know if you can see that, again not all the way to the bottom, and you're just going to cut down like that, and then when you come to cut it, oops sorry, it's cut and it's in chunks. Okay,
okay, technically it's called dicing.
that's how you cut your onion. And you need to crush your garlic, so if you cut both ends off, and then it has a skin on it, a pink skin. Peel that off. And then the garlic crusher. And you just squeeze. When you use the crusher, you'll find there'll still be some garlic left inside. Just pop any big chunks back and again squeeze it. And then just scrape out, you can use what's in there, scrape out anything that's left inside. Then you need to cut your pepper, cut the end off. Stand it on its end with the bridge hold, cut it in half, and then you'll see you've got your seeds inside. So if you stand it up on the end and then just cut round to cut the seeds out. Okay?
It's called de-seeding.
And then you can just cut it in strips, holding it tight with your other hand. You don't have to stand there and then do each strip one by one. You can put a few of them together and cut across them. It takes less time.
The other thing, guys, is try not to cut them into tiny chunks, because this dish does require your vegetables to be slightly chunky, because you are actually going to reduce them down. Okay, if they're too tiny, they go too mushy for this dish.
So you're looking at about 1 centimetre, roughly, chunks. So that's your pepper. Then you're going to do your courgette, aubergine. So you cut the end off. I'm running out of space. I'm just going to stop chopping board because I'm running out of space. So if you cut the aubergine in half, don't try and do it all in one go. Start halfway, cut it down, turn it round, and then do the other end. and that'll make it easier for you to cut in half. Okay, and then what I would do again is cut it in half again, and then again about 1 centimetre chunks you're going to cut across like that. What you will find is as you get to the bigger end you've got bigger chunks, so just cut them in half again. Then you're going to need 2 courgettes, which you top and tail, which means cut off the top bit and the bottom bit. I would cut it in half, and then using the bridge hold again, cut it in half again. Again, like you did with the aubergine, cut it in half, and then cut your chunks about 1 centimetre again.
Remembering to change your knife hold at the same time, okay?
Bridge hold, claw grip. Bridge hold, claw grip. All your vegetables prepared. So the next thing you're going to do is heat up 2 tablespoons of oil.
At this point, we have vegetable oil in school. If you want to use olive oil, then you will need to bring that in yourselves, guys, okay? We don't have olive oil, we have vegetable oil.
And then if you can find it, you're going to add your garlic, and you're going to add your onion. Writing that down, guys. And you're going to cook that for about 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay, and quality control check here would be to make sure that the onion has gone soft and that you haven't burned the flavours by burning the garlic or the onion, okay? And a health and safety check would be to make sure that you don't splash any hot oil.
Then you're going to add your peppers, you're going to add courgettes and aubergines.
Okay, so again, remember health and safety, make sure you're stirring it carefully so you don't flick any hot vegetables out of your pan or splash yourself in any way. And most importantly, making sure that your pan handle is not sticking out the side of the hob. And then just for a bit of quality control, you need to make sure that your vegetables are combined evenly so that they cook evenly.
We're going to cook that for 2 to 3 minutes. Don't need to stir it all the time, but just make sure nothing's going to burn on the bottom. And then you're going to add your peppers. Half a teaspoon of sugar, which we'll provide.
Sugar is there as like a seasoning, helps to add flavour.
And then you're going to add your 400 grams of chopped tomatoes.
Another quality control check here, guys, is to make sure that you are very careful when you're stirring that in so it doesn't splash. And the quality control check will be to make sure that you've evenly coated your vegetables with the tomatoes, okay? You don't want any vegetables that aren't covered in tomato, otherwise they won't soften nicely and get the flavours.
Add a little bit of black pepper.
So season to taste.
Optional, you can add some herbs. Italian herbs will go nice with this because of the vegetables that are in it. So you could just add about a teaspoon of mixed herbs, but that's optional.
Always remember your health and safety. Whenever you're adding anything to the pan, you make sure that you're very careful not to splash yourself or to flick any hot vegetables out of the pan while you're stirring it.
And then you're going to cover it, lid on, turn it down, and you're going to let it simmer for about 20 minutes on a gentle heat or until the vegetables are all soft. Okay, what you will find, this is one we made earlier, can you see all the liquid? And that's because when you put the lid on, and you can see how the vegetables have all reduced down, they're all nice now nice and soft. That's because you've put a lid on and it's caused condensation inside the pan, and that's what helps the vegetables cook. Okay?